Welcome to week 3, where we will be focusing on self-compassion. Last week we discussed being present, and I hope that you were able to use the guided meditations and the mindful techniques daily. Doing these things daily will help strengthen your practice and help you to reduce your stress. For this part 1 session, we will be discussing what is self-compassion and the barriers you might be facing to have compassion for yourself. Then I will introduce you to a compassionate breathing meditation. Self-compassion, as defined by Christiane Wolf, is composed of 3 elements: mindfulness, common humanity, and self-kindness. Mindfulness is active in the moment when we acknowledge that pain is present in our experience. It's also the ability to hold a painful moment in balanced awareness rather than over-identifying with it. Common humanity is our collective experiences, particularly our shortcomings and struggles. When we accept our common humanity, we see ourselves as part of our larger human experience. Instead of feeling isolated due to perceived defects, we understand defects are part of being human. We notice, for example, that this is what heartbreak is like for all of us, or this is what it feels like to worry about a sick child for everyone. Self-kindness is being kind to yourself in the presence of hardship or failure instead of being self-critical. Some people say, I've got to be hard on myself to be tough, or I'm never going to get it. There is a frequent misconception that harsh internal dialogue is needed to motivate ourselves and help us to achieve our goals. Harsh self-criticism actually undermines motivation. Self-compassionate people actually have less fear of failure and have greater intrinsic motivation to master the task at hand. We have found this harsh drill sergeant approach to be common among those in early recovery. A powerful way to diffuse this faulty belief is to ask, if this harsh internal critic was that effective, would you be here? Isn't it time to try something different? We can only take so much harsh internal criticism. After a while, someone enduring all those snide internal comments may resort to a less adaptive coping strategy, such as emotional avoidance, distraction, or numbing. Some people believe the harsh internal critic is their primary driver for accomplishment. But is this true? Sometimes our inner critic wants something good for us. Sometimes it's just an old tape from a childhood full of doubt. But good or ill, ultimately, the method of the internal critic is harsh, judgmental language. This can be dispiriting, and it isn't the critic that makes us succeed. It is our innate skills and efforts. Self-compassion supports us rather than derails our plans. And some people may say self-compassion is too soft for me. We are frequently socialized to believe that compassion in general is soft, unmanly, and somehow weak. Sharon Salzberg acknowledges this degradation of compassion and kindness into secondary virtues is our competitive culture, and instead describes compassion as a potent tool for transformation and connectedness. Compassion can also be fierce. Think of Mother Teresa or Martin Luther King Jr. Or think about, what would you do if a friend is ready to get drunk after 3 years of sobriety because her boyfriend dumped her? You would probably drag her to an AA meeting. That is compassion, not being weak or soft. You could call it tough love or fierce love. Ultimately, self-compassion isn't about turning you into a doormat. It's about relating to your own experience with kindness. If you aren't kind to yourself, who will be? Some people say they are reluctant to take up the practice of self-compassion because it feels so self-centered. Some might say, I don't want to wallow in my pain. We have found that there is a lot of confusion between self-pity and self-compassion. Here is the difference. When we are lost in self-pity, the sense of self is much enhanced. We feel contracted, tense, often immobilized. The whole world seems to have collapsed around my pain, and what does it mean to my life and to me? The self-talk is usually along the lines of, why me? This is unfair. This shouldn't have happened to me. Nobody understands what I'm going through, and so on. We feel sorry for ourselves, the poor me state. Self-compassion, on the other hand, is actually the opposite. Through the second aspect of self-compassion, the common humanity, we let go of the tight sense of self and connect with and open to the vast universal human experience. We feel what it feels like for anybody who is experiencing this or ever has experienced this. When we can feel into the brother or the sisterhood of shared emotions, something softens and opens. We see that it's not just us, but simply what it is like to be alive. We can allow the vulnerability and the knowledge that nobody can and will escape suffering and pain. This is part of being human. For example, if you're laid off at work and worried about paying rent next month, the internal talk of self-pity is, I can't believe this happened to me. This isn't fair. I don't deserve this. What am I going to do? On the other hand, the dialogue of self-compassion might be, this is hard and even a little scary. This is what it feels like for everyone who is struggling and loses a job. I can have an intention to be particularly kind to myself during this time. I will now read you a story called Mine Like the Ocean. Have you ever tried to swim out into the ocean when multiple sets of large waves are breaking onto the ocean, one right after another? With each bit of progress you make, another wave breaks and pushes you back toward the beach. You can quickly become exhausted, fighting all the waves. You might even tell yourself, wow, the ocean is really kicking my tail. But the waves are not the same thing as the ocean. Caught up in the energy of the waves and our desire to go out for a swim, we can forget that the ocean is spacious and vast. It can be helpful to duck under the waves when they come. In this way, we can make progress on our swim without getting caught up in the sway of each individual wave. Never forget that, even during a hurricane, the ocean is miles out and miles deep. And underneath the power of what is happening on the surface, there can be stillness and calm. So when your own life seems to be filled with storm, when the big waves of thought are coming in one right after another, remember that you are the ocean and not the waves. Your awareness is spacious and vast, and under the surface you can find stillness. I will now introduce you to the compassionate breathing meditation. This practice is very similar to the mindfulness of breathing, as we use the felt sense of breathing as our anchor to the present moment. Each time your mind wanders, as it certainly will do, we simply bring it back to the physical sensations of the breath, with kindness and without judgment. But in a mindfulness of breathing practice, we are allowing whatever is present to be just as it is. In this practice, we are actively trying to warm it up a bit. We do this by inviting our awareness to explore the nourishing qualities of the breath, if this is available to you in the practice. We also bring an awareness of the compassion and kindness that surround us each day, starting with the kindness in the room. Begin by sitting in a comfortable yet dignified posture and allowing the eyes to gently close. Taking a few deep and easy breaths in and out, bringing awareness into the body, into the felt sense of the breath into the body, allowing yourself to drop into awareness of being alive, of breathing. Checking in with your body to notice any tension or stress. If you find physical discomfort or stress, simply make a note of it. If there isn't any, make note of that too. When you feel ready, check for the presence of any difficult or stressful emotions you might be experiencing. Explore your chest and heart space and see what's there. Meeting either physical or emotional distress is the occasion for our compassion practice. We have a tendency to want to avoid that which is difficult. But in this practice, we actively meet any suffering or discomfort with compassion. If there is no suffering in this moment, simply noticing that experience. Now take a nice deep breath and then another. Notice how the body is being nourished with this breath. Shifting the focus of your attention to the inhale part of the breath cycle, feeling the air coming into the body. Perhaps you can sense how this feels nourishing and replenishing. Imagine breathing in compassion, as if the oxygen molecules were carrying compassion into your body. Or it could be a word with each inhalation, like love or ease. You could also imagine inhaling light or warmth, whatever works for you, whatever you need in this moment. If you have a hard time connecting to compassion or kindness, see if you can imagine what it would feel like to be surrounded by love and compassion. Allow yourself to be nourished if possible. Taking in the kindness that is around you. Breathing in the kindness and the compassion with each inhale as much as possible. Allowing yourself to be soothed with each compassionate inhale. Taking it all in just for you. When you feel ready, shifting your attention to the exhale portion of the breath cycle, feeling the air leaving your body, allowing any tension to melt away with each exhale. Now, with each exhale, imagine exhaling compassion with each breath. You can extend this compassion to someone you know who might be suffering or needing some compassion. Or perhaps you might prefer sending out compassion to everyone around you. With each exhale, allowing some of the abundant compassion that is within you to be transmitted to those who need it. Continue to exhale with ease, extending all the kindness and compassion so plentiful in you out into the world. When you are ready, shifting your attention to now notice the entire breath cycle, noticing both the inhale and the exhale, breathing deeply in and completely out. With each inhale, taking in some compassion that is just for you. With each exhale, sending it out to everyone else. Allowing yourself to savor all this kindness and compassion coming into and leaving your body, finding a sense of ease and balance, taking in compassion just for you, sending out compassion for everyone else. Now allowing the breath to find its own natural rhythm, breathing in and breathing out gently and with ease. Compassion breathing in just for you, compassion out for others. With each inhale and exhale, feeling a sense of ease, feeling the compassion all around you, feeling whole just as you are. Breathing compassion in and compassion out. one for you and one for everyone else. Allowing the soothing sense of compassion to penetrate every organ and every cell, allowing the care and comfort to be felt in the body and then sending it out for everyone else. Inhaling care and exhaling care. That concludes today's session. Your next handout is creating a personal intention statement. And I also want you to say 5 things you like about yourself daily. You can do this in the bathroom while you're getting ready for the day, or even when you're getting ready for bed, whenever you feel comfortable doing it. Or maybe you can do it together with your children. I also still encourage you to do a daily meditation, and it can be your choice of a guided or a focused breathing meditation. Take care.